right, we're with Robert Baumann. He is the father of Lilly, the young girl who custody was decided in Judge Feren's courtroom earlier this year, and she's been missing since May. Tell us where things stand right now in the search for your daughter.
Pretty much, it's a bunch of dead ends. People bringing in hints, but they're not leading anywhere. FBI has been involved, and they're actively looking, and Sunrise Police are looking, but they're not coming up with anything.
A lot of the case, there was a group that her boyfriend, Carlos Lester, Lily's mother, Megan, was dating Carlos Lester's, a Virginia group that wants to bring back Confederacy and the Confederate way of life. Do you still think that she's out of state and up there with someone connected to that group?
I definitely think it's a good possibility, basically because most of Carlos's friends have to do with the organization, and I'm not saying that the organization's possibly hiding her, but there's someone that's friends with them that is part of the organization, most likely could be helping or aiding.
So let's go to that day in court. You have your case ready. You know it's a long shot to get full custody, but you have a lot of evidence, and you think that Judge Feren, after he reviews it, would be at least more sympathetic to your side and try and figure out what's going on. Tell us about that day and what you showed him and his reaction.
That day I did have everything ready and stacked up. I did have videos. I didn't end up having to show them because when Megan brought Carlos in as a witness, we questioned him about the videos and things that were on it, which he admitted to everything that was on the videos. And Judge Feren was listening, but really didn't have a comment. It didn't really look like it fazed him at all. I showed him pictures.
Let's talk about those videos. That's his YouTube channel, Carlos Lester's. What videos did he admit to doing?
There was a couple videos. One in particular part of the video, he would admit that he was racist and that he didn't like, different ethnicities. I had a problem even with white people. There was one where he told people that if he didn't like, what he had to say or anything like that, that he could find him at his address. Pretty much told him his address and said, if you don't like it, come find me. Pretty much inviting a confrontation where, my daughter was residing, which I feel like that shouldn't have been, shouldn't be taken lightly. I mean, you have a 2-year-old and you're telling people, hey, if you don't like what I have to say, here's my house. I don't need guns. You can come and we can fight and this and that. And I didn't think it was a safe environment for my daughter to be in.
Okay, what about the pictures that you showed Judge Feren?
Definitely one of the biggest pictures I showed, which I thought should have made a bigger impact, was my daughter was around live ammunition. She was playing with them. She wasn't even maybe a year and a half, if that. She was sitting around hundreds of bullets and boxes of ammunition she was playing with, and I showed a picture to Judge Feren, and we did talk about it a little bit in the courtroom, but he didn't really, he seemed concerned, but he didn't do anything other than suggested that they should buy a gun safe. Didn't order it or anything like that.
In a recent interview on Headline News with Dr. Drew, Megan's mom mentioned she had disappeared, ran off to Canada for 10 months. Did you tell Judge Feren about that incident?
I'm pretty sure it was definitely discussed, because we did explain that she had a chance to run before, and
so the judge was aware she was a flight risk, potentially.
That was part of the reason why in the order we wanted to make it to where she wasn't able to leave the state of Florida without getting a written consent from a judge or a court order that allowed her to leave the state. That was one of the things that we put in the court order that Judge Feren did sign off on.
And now she was living with this Carlos guy and had joint custody with you, but you had evidence that she was actually staying out of the area with just the boyfriend without Megan?
Yeah, there was one situation where he took her up to a Confederate, I want to say it was like a Memorial Day or an Independence Day. I don't remember exactly what it was, but he went to Tampa. She had told me they were going as a group, and then when it came down to it, and we subpoenaed the work hours from her job, she was working that weekend that she didn't go, and I didn't know about it, and he had took my daughter alone up to Tampa.
And you had pictures of Lilly at some of these protests out of state?
Yeah, there's definitely, I have pictures of Megan, Carlos, and my daughter Lilly at Confederate protests, which, I mean, I don't think a child should ever be at a protest, period. You never know when something's going to go wrong, and, you know, you have, you know, guns or tear gas or anything.
So what was Judge Feren's reaction when he saw all these pictures?
I mean, I could tell he looked disturbed on some of them, but he didn't act other than, well, you know, joint custody was his answer to everything. And that I would get my daughter for, you know, 1 week and then Megan would get the following week. But having the issue with all the guns, the protests, the, you know, Confederacy, the groups, the environment that wasn't good for a 2-year-old, he just, like I said, he ended up with just joint custody was his answer.
So Lilly goes missing, the Sunrise Police get involved, the FBI get involved. You and your lawyer go back to Judge Feren to get a new order to avoid any custody issues that the police find, or what was the judge's response to all that?
Well, I had a pickup order that I went to get, and then it had a court date on it, so that if my ex was to be served with the pickup order, that she would have to appear, and then that would take place of where my daughter would stay in my custody until a further order would take effect. I appeared on the court date, and me and my lawyer asked Judge Feren to rewrite the order because he said the order would stay in effect. But, you know, with all the complications with wording on court orders, we didn't want a date to be there. We wanted a new order to be written, or we would have wrote it and he would have just had to sign it saying that the pickup order would stay in effect until a further order and there is no further court date. His answer was it didn't need to be done. He didn't have to sign another order to just keep the order I had, even though it has a court date on it. It could cause complication with the police because, you know, they look at it, in fact, well, what happened on that court date? And if I tell them, well, the court order stayed in effect, I didn't want to have any complications to them saying, well, where's the new court order? Saying that this current court order is still in effect. And Judge Feren decided that, you know, that he didn't need to have to sign or rewrite the order, that particular order, even though it had a court date on it, should be sufficient enough in the situation.
Did he apologize to you at all?
No, he did give me some advice saying that I should probably hire a private investigator. You know, hopefully she'll be found soon.
I showed you the mailer that the judge had sent out to voters with the teddy bear and the little girl about family court and protecting people. And then in the one part where he says that his first priority is to ensure that children are safe and secure and the decisions are made based on the best interest of the children. Do you think he did all he could to ensure that Lilly was safe and secure and doing what was in the best interest of her?
I don't think so at all. I definitely think that the best interest was not for a 2-year-old to be around that much ammunition, guns, be around that much hate with the Confederacy, all the problems. I definitely think it was a poor decision.
Yeah, Judge Feren also sent out a mailer to attack his opponent, who's an attorney locally, saying that judges make decisions that change lives and it was too risky to elect his opponent. Do you think he made a decision that changed Lilly's life?
I definitely think the decision that was made is definitely going to make a huge change in her life, and probably not for the better.
If people have information or want to help, what kind of help do you need right now? What can people do if they want to help find Lilly?
You know, definitely keep an eye out, and you know, if you see something or think you might have seen her, definitely contact the local authorities. You know, I'm currently looking for a private investigator, so the best thing people can do is just, you know, spread the word, spread my story. Hopefully in other states, in this state, someone will see something and they'll come forth and do the right thing.